Hey, everybody. So excited for my next guest. She's a dear and good friend of mine. I can't believe she's here in the Zoom room with me. She and I went to college together, so we go way back. I know, we're laughing. Um, Marcia, my dear friend, please introduce yourself to the listeners.
Thank you, Francesca. Hi, everybody. I am Marcia Zaruba O'Connor. Obviously, you hear the Z's. We were basically right next to each other through a lot of our classes in college, but I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you. I'm so excited to have you. And that's exactly right. We would sit right next to each other in accounting class, and the professor would yell out our name, our last name, Zaruba, Zampaglione, what do you got? It was just fascinating. And look how far we've come. And I love that we can connect on this amazing space. But you have your own company, Marcia. Like, yes, we both started out in accounting and we've done other things. Tell us a little bit about the O'Connor Group, because it's great, but I want everybody else to know how great it is.
Oh, thank you. We are basically a 14-year-old company that we do outsource HR and outsource recruiting for mid-sized companies. And we are based out of King of Prussia, Pennsylvania.
That's awesome. So you and I were talking a little bit in the what I call the green room, right? Where we get relaxed and we talk about the amazing things. You have so many stories, right? And we both agreed that, when we tell these stories, people can really learn from them. And you mentioned something that I had never heard before, and that was that people have 5 jobs for each search. Break that down for me a little bit, because I had never heard this. Everybody just thinks one job, one interview, but you have something else to say about that.
Yeah, right now it's the war for talent. Talent has never been hotter. It's number one, pretty much in all the CEOs' minds right now, is figuring out how to not only attract talent, but to retain talent. And
Mm,
because of the crazy world situation, right now there literally are about 5 jobs out there per each employee. So right now
wow.
it's like going shopping, Francesca, and saying, "Oh my gosh, I have all these choices. What's the best? What's going to look best on me?" And it really ties into figuring out, doing your homework about each one of them. But it's figuring out too. It's like sometimes people think the grass is greener on the other side, and sometimes it's not. But you have to keep in mind there are so many choices. So my tip for my CEOs is take care of your employees now. Start doing stay interviews instead of doing exit interviews.
Brilliant. Start doing stay interviews. There is a lot of turnover. There's a lot of fear of turnover. I know you've heard of the term, the Great Resignation. There's a lot of people, it's just unstable. I was speaking with someone earlier this morning, and she said she hired 3 people and they never showed up. And there are people that don't show up for interviews. So yeah, let's talk about that. What are some best practices that we can share with the leaders of the organization? So we need stay interviews. Any other things that we can share?
Yes, make that onboarding process phenomenal and making sure that people feel like they are appreciated and they are welcomed. We had a person who we worked really hard. He was a controller and come on board a company that they worked really hard to get. And, when he came in his first day, they didn't even realize he was coming in that day. They had no computer for him. They were totally like caught off guard. And what happened was, I guess the recruiting team didn't talk to the HR team, and so it made it look for a really bad show. So he stayed for 3 days and he called us up. He said, "I'm really sorry." He goes, "But I just can't stay here." He goes, "They didn't even anticipate me." And so we called and said, "What
Wow.
happened?" And they said they had a miscommunication internally. So it's stuff like that you would think that you take for granted, but that communication to make that whole onboarding seamless is so important. And it's not just that first week, Francesca. It's that 30, 60, 90-day check-in afterwards to make sure everything is going smoothly.
Wow. So it's like a nice big welcome package, and not forgetting who you're bringing in. So it's paying special attention to these people as they deserve, right? It's more important now than ever. That makes so much sense. So all you listeners out there in the employer role, Marcia has the best tips. I love it. I love it. So let's remember what's good for us, and let's remember integrate these people into the work community, if you will. Okay, I love it. What else can we share for the employer base? One other tip, because we have
Yeah.
time.
Have a buddy. So what does that mean? So a lot of
Mm,
people right now are still not in the office 100% of the time. And there is
mm.
still a lot of loneliness out there. We're doing a lot more information about the mental health side of the house. And we do fear that this fall is going to be a little bit more intensity with the mental health side of the house. So have a buddy. And what does that mean? It's assigning somebody that starts with you, a person who's been with the company that they're going to actually, have virtual lunch sessions or have virtual coffee, just someone to check in to make sure they're okay, but really make sure that they do it. But sometimes I hear of buddies that like, oh, here's my buddy. Yeah, but I haven't heard from them. So really like have a structured process for that buddy to follow, because it really makes it helpful for a new person to come on board, knowing they have somebody to turn to, because you're not seeing people at the water cooler anymore. So a buddy would be very helpful.
Oh gosh, that is brilliant, right? Because we don't have that cooler connection. So we need to think of other ways to make the connection. So let's make it through the Zoom room. I mean, this has made so many things possible, but impossible as well. And that's the face-to-face interaction. I love that, love that, love that. I'm definitely going to highlight that in my top 3 takeaways without a doubt. All right, so have a buddy, have onboarding, and make sure you have a great welcoming package, service, if you will, just getting everybody involved, right? Just kind of giving them a big hug. If I were to just relate it, just giving them a big hug as they're coming in. Employees are our highest and best asset, right? Would you agree?
They are. They're the biggest thing on your payroll, guys, and you want to make sure too on your, obviously, your income statement. They are typically, the big expense in regards to your benefits and all too. So take good care of them. It's extremely expensive. It's 1.5 times a salary to basically replace somebody. And to be honest with you, right now we're seeing an incredible amount of counter offers taking place. And as a recruiter, we always have to ask that question back to the candidate. Like, listen, there's a reason why you are even talking to us. So make sure, because you're staying, it's for the right reason and not for the money, because there's scientific evidence that 6 months later you are still in that predicament of I should have left. So you want to make sure that you are leaving for the right reasons, but be careful because things are happening so quickly right now that once you have that offer in front of you, you have to make a decision, and they're looking for that pretty quickly, and you didn't expect it so fast. So just be careful what you do wish for. But I can tell
Yeah.
you too, culture is also a big hot topic right now. And I hear from all my CEOs, oh, we've got the greatest culture. And once you start talking to some of the times people inside, they're like, we don't really have a great culture. Our communication is lacking. So it really starts from top down. And I think CEOs should do a lot better job of really understanding what their culture is and what it means to their people.
Right. I mean, you just hit the nail on the head and how important it is, what it means to their people, and realize how important it is in keeping that happiness quotient high. Because I'm sure you can't make somebody happy, right? You need to hire happy people. So we need to be mindful of that. So hire that happy person and let's see what we can do to keep that person happy, right? Because you just said it, it's an expensive thing if we don't. So I love it. This is such great information. So let's turn the tables a little bit, because one of my favorite questions and one of the top questions that I ask everybody here, regardless of experience, is, and we talked about it a little bit because I love the color that Marcia is wearing. You guys can't see it, but she's got this great little tan going, and she's got this beautiful coral blouse with coral earrings. But of all time, Marcia, if you can think of, what is your favorite piece of clothing or accessory of all time, and how does it make you feel?
I would say I have a favorite accessory. I have this awesome moonstone pendant that
Mm,
I wear with a gold like choker. And honestly, every time I wear that, people all say like, wow, I really like that. It's different, it's unique. It goes with a summer outfit, it goes with a dress, it goes with a business suit. That is my absolute favorite accessory in the world. And I also love lipstick, to be honest with you. I feel as if like I have to go out of the house with lipstick at all times, but that's I use my MAC, it's Odyssey, and that's my favorite. I have literally like 10 Odysseys in my house, in my car and all, just to make sure I always don't leave home without it. But those are my massive accessories that I have to like always have with me.
I love it. Well, because this show is about confidence and stepping into our power. And when you wear a piece that you just described, it goes with everything. People notice it. And when people pay you that compliment, you feel pretty strong and powerful. And you're in a position that you have to keep that confidence up there. So thank you for sharing that with us. Did someone give that to you or did you purchase that on your own?
No, I bought it at a charity function,
I
and
love
to be honest
it.
with you, it wasn't a lot of money. And you sit back. I think people put a lot of money into their jewelry, and that's awesome. But I'm just letting people know out there, like you don't. I mean, you're starting like a new business yourself, and you want to look good. You don't have to do that. It's just the small little things that are unique, and they're like conversation starters that people really appreciate. And what, talking about style too, Francesca, I can always tell too when somebody is not really up to par is when I look at their Zooms and they are not like, I don't know, they have the ponytail going on or they're wearing like a hoodie. And I'm sitting there saying, you're working and you're on a big meeting and you're looking like that. And I'll have conversations with them afterwards, like, what's up? What's going on? This isn't
Right,
you. Something else is
right.
happening and it's coming through on your Zoom. So as managers out there, really take note of who's showing up for your Zooms and all, because if people are starting to do that, there's something else is going on. So be very cognizant about that.
Thank you for sharing that. I have brought this up before because, and you just said it without us talking about it beforehand, I do feel that people dress on the outside, how they feel on the inside. So you just vocalized it and said, okay, check in with that person and see how they're doing, because we do want to present our best selves, and especially for work, because we're in a community, we want connection. So that's another important factor to pay attention to. Wow, this has just been so brilliant. You're just so full of such great information. If someone wanted to reach out to you, Marcia, to continue this conversation or just to say, hi, I think you're great, because she is great, by the way, everybody, where's the best place for people to reach you?
Oh, you're so sweet. I would say LinkedIn. My
Okay.
LinkedIn profile, and it's obviously it's Zaruba. There's only a few of us out there, and then O'Connor, all O's. Feel free to do that, or our website, TOCGRP. There is a sign up to get our newsletters, which are full of fun tidbits to use, as well as we try to highlight a lot of smaller companies in the area every 2 weeks, and that has been definitely a highlight of the O'Connor group. But love to hear from everybody out there. Absolutely.
Great. I will absolutely put those links in the show notes. So all they have to do is link on that. And all of you should sign up for her e-letters. I get them chock full of great information. She is very supportive. I haven't even talked about Marcia's, how she supports charities and how generous and giving she is. I mean, that's a whole nother side of beauty that she has from within. So please follow her and sign up for her newsletters. You will not be disappointed, and they come out weekly. Marcia, I love you. Thank you so much for your time today.
I love you too. And I should talk to you every day. I feel like a $1,000,000 right now. So thanks, Francesca.
Thank you, love. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your day. Take
You too,
care.
honey. Thank you.